I'll be right back. Okay, so good evening and welcome to today's BossConstructor development stream. Today we are going to implement the next module from our player suggested module list, and this is the extractor, right? Okay, I'm a bit late today, so sorry. Okay, so before we begin, let me just briefly tweet that I'm going to stream now. Okay, so before we begin, this was the result for the last module voting round. As you can see, there was once again a tie break between the extractor and the nano armor, and the random number generator favored the extractor. So that is what we are doing today. And before we begin, let's see what the original suggestion was for the extractor, and let's make a plan for how the module will work. Second step will be the making of the graphics. Third step, as usual, adding it to the game. Fourth step will be add functionality, then we will test it, and then we will deploy it. Okay, so use for all upgrades, manual trader and credits, or extractor. Okay, let's have a look. Gets more ore from sparkling asteroids and maybe a chance for one ore from any non-sparkling asteroid. Size and weight like the ore container. Okay. Okay. Maybe a little auto-moving crane above the scrap container or extractor, or crane with a laser mining asteroids. Well, actually, I had an animation for a crane arm or deck crane which was moving using inverse kinematics, which was pretty cool. But it's sort of dysfunctional at the moment, and I'm not entirely sure how to do it best, because now there are no longer all containers required in the current build. So, I mean, if you remember correctly, there were ore containers which were your only way of storing ore. And this was sort of annoying and sort of limiting in several ways, because you were always, you know, required to have ore containers, and especially in the late game when there were like huge prices for modules, it was very inconvenient to be required to have ore containers all the time. So this sort of would not work if you have no actual ore containers. Okay, let's see if there's something more in this thread. Okay. So basically there are two alternative approaches to do this. I think the sort of simpler approach would be to, let me just draw it. So what I'm sort of imagining is, if this is your ship, this is the asteroid, then if you are in a certain proximity to the asteroid, you will just have these little ore pieces flying towards your ship, maybe with some tractor beam effect or so. It's like a horrible sketch. So let's just so just assume there's some tractor beam effect which pulls the gems, the ore pieces, out of the asteroid and into your ship, or into the ore extractor module, which would probably be more convenient. Okay, so let's begin. I guess this is sort of, I think it is, I mean, obviously it's easier to implement than having these deck crane things. I mean, let me just show you how that would look. So there you would have your ship, your asteroid, and you would have like little arms coming out and grabbing this stuff. I mean, it would also look really cool, actually. I'm actually not so sure what the best way would be. I mean, either way, I'm not quite sure if I can completely make the module in today's dev stream, because I do not have as much time as usual today. But I mean, we sort of have to decide this now, because it affects how the module graphics will look like, and without the module graphics, it's sort of hard to decide. Okay, so let's just for the moment keep the idea of using the stack crane. I mean, we can still sort of go back to the tractor beam approach if we fail. So assuming this is your ore extractor module. Okay, I'm sort of getting the idea of how it should look like. So you'd have like little ore containers in the back, and like these two huge prongs in the front, where the arms would extend from. Yeah, I guess it makes sense, sort of. Okay, I will try the arm solution. I'm not yet sure if it will be the final version, or if we will change it later on, but for now let's give it a go. It's also not quite sure, should there be like two of them? Or maybe we could make one which extends to the asteroid and sort of sucks the ore out of it. I mean, that would also be sort of cool. Wait a second, let's try this as a third attempt. Okay. Can we please fill this? Um, GIMP, how does it even work? So the third attempt or variation would be to have, if this is your ship, this is the asteroid, this is the extractor module, and you could have like this, like a tube which extends from it. And maybe graphically we could have an impulse going along this way to indicate the extraction process. Yeah, actually I sort of like it. So this tube would extend to the asteroid. It would sort of bend as your ship moves along, which will actually be really hard to implement. But it would look pretty cool. And it also, I mean, like I said before, it's sort of super simple to implement a tractor beam, or it would look sort of cool, but we already have a lot of tractor beam style modules in the game, so I'm guessing this approach would be more diverse. Okay, so let's begin by making the graphics. This is sort of done. And let's begin by opening one of our related modules, which would be the OR container in this case. Where is it? Container OR. SVG. Okay. Okay, first of all, let's make the background a bit darker. Then let's save it as OR extractor SVG, and yeah. Okay, so basically my idea for designing this module is that we will keep the base design, because it shares obviously the same theme of OR, which is, you know, supposedly stored in these little boxes, and we'll make like a hole here in the middle. And here we will like make our tube, which will extend to the front, and from which our extraction tube will extend from. Okay, so since all the modules are oriented to the top, let's just move it here. And again, super annoying snapping stuff. It's probably not working again. Okay, seems to be working now. Okay. Okay, so if you're watching this for the first time, the first step to making this module graphics or the game is to make a height map. And the height map works in a way that the lighter parts of this graphic will extend to the top, and the darker parts will be below. So, the tube will extend from here. We need something like this, which extends from there. Okay, so let's begin. Okay. First of all, let's make it brighter so that it stands out on the top. Okay. then can mirror it. Put it here. Yeah, let's put an additional layer here so that it is even higher here in the middle. Make it 100% opaque. And yeah, pretty much like this. I guess. I don't know if this is picking up on the mic, but the weather is really, really bad outside. It's really stormy at the moment, which is actually relatively rare for this region. So it's probably foreshadowing evil things to come or something like that. Okay, so that's this part. Let's make a copy here. So again, this doesn't look like much, but when in our next step, this will become like a height gradient, and it will look a bit like a tube extending from bottom to top. And I'm also going to make little tube-like things here, which are like the how should I put it? Like how this is attached to the modules. Yeah, okay. Let's make it like here, here, and again here. Let's make one guy here. Maybe make this a little bit rotated. Yep. Let's put it one layer below so that it doesn't overlap with these guys. And maybe one final piece here. And again, let's put it below this layer. Okay, I guess it's almost done. I should extend this to the bottom. Okay, that. And I guess it needs just a tiny bit more detail. So I'm going to add a bit more here, maybe. Not sure. Yeah, maybe like this. Okay, okay. Okay, and maybe two more here in the top. Yeah, that should look nice. If you're watching this for the first time, I understand that it's sort of hard to imagine how this is going to look anything but crap, but just wait and see. This. Maybe yes, maybe no. Let's give it a try. Okay, so now I'm going to export it. Or extractor.png. And before I continue, I'm just going to get something to drink. Also, I should export it correctly, like this, okay. And now I'm going to open it in GIMP. And, well, I guess I can already do this transformation so that you can see how the module will look like. Or extractor, nice. So let's remove these guys. So what I just did is I applied a custom script for GIMP, which I've written, which takes this height map data and transforms it into, you know, a number of layers, which each look a little bit like they are shadow in different directions, and also like an outline layer, which I can play around with, and another outline layer. Yeah. So basically, we are taking this and turning it into this, which is already, I like it actually, I like it. I'm not too sure about this bottom part, to be yeah, well, I guess I'm going to remove that part because it's sort of, I don't like it that much. Or maybe instead of removing it, I can just make it smaller like this. Okay. Okay, let's do it again. Okay. Let's overwrite the previous file. Let's repeat the script. Again, let's remove this crap. And again, let's turn down the opacity of these layers. Okay. Okay. Good. Yeah, this looks better, I think. Okay, so as a basic design guideline, I think that active and important modules like weapons, for example, should look more, you know, more dominant, more contrasty, and modules like this, which are, how should I put it, more passive and more non-aggressive, should look not as menacing as the other ones. Okay, so next, I'm going to transform the colors of this thingy a bit by applying a curve transformation. So basically I'm making it a little bit brighter. Yeah, pretty much like this. Okay. Actually, as a reference, we could look at the finished or extractor graphic so that it sort of fits with the how's it called? Okay, yeah. Okay, so this is how the OR container looks, which is roughly the same brightness as this one. I guess we should make an attempt to make it look the same. Maybe like this. Not as much. Oops. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, good, nice. Okay, so now I'm getting my tea. I'll be right back. Okay. So this part is finished. Next, let's export it, put it into the game. So the first layer which we're exporting is sort of the base color. Okay, actually we forgot one thing. I always sort of like to overlay a little bit of texture. Yeah, just to give it a tiny bit of detail. I mean, it's actually really hard to tell, and I'm not really sure if I'm going to keep doing this, but personally I think it looks a little bit more interesting. I mean, it's not like the module will be like 5 pixels large in this final game, but whatever, just out of principle. Okay, our extractor is the first layer which we export. The second layer is the color mask, and the color mask, which isn't the color mask is basically the part of the module which will be colored in the player's color. It's not super important at the moment. How is it done for the OR container, I wonder? What did I call it? Container Dems mask. Okay, like tiny dots for each. It's not like super pretty. Okay, I guess we just have to redo the color mask. So let's take this part and this part. Okay, and maybe this part. We'll make the threshold a little bit bigger. Yeah, okay, this part and this part. Okay, let's just take this part and make it right here in the color mask. Okay. This is probably a bit too bright. I'm not sure yet. Let's make it a little bit blurry. Yes. Okay. And I think this is going to be way too strong, so let's take this part and make it a bit less bright, I guess. Okay. Is it even doing something? Ah, okay, it is. Okay, good. Okay, good. So this is our color mask, and we export it as OR extractor mask. And finally, we make a normal map, which will give the game information about the actual height, which will be used for normal mapping and shading. Okay, so let's apply normal map. Let's do this. Let's make it way stronger. sort of hard to say which will look best later on. Oh, this was not the way. Okay. So in case you haven't worked with normal maps before, this is sort of the base color, which means that it is pointing upwards. The red parts are pointing to the right, the green parts are pointing to the bottom, and so on. So this way the game knows in which direction stuff is facing later on. Okay, so let's export this as extractor normal. And that should be pretty much it for the graphics. So now let's add the new module to the game. So let's begin by using the what shall we use as a base? Let's take the energy absorber. Let's save it as extractor. I guess it is a structure module. Okay. Extractor, okay. Is active true, is controllable false, right? Data direction hint is to the front, okay. And here we specify the size, which is 3 by 2. And energy generation, well, we can just delete this stuff for the moment. Okay, next we go to the module list and edit here. And finally we will have to add it to the research system, but we can do this at a later point. Okay. Okay. So let's see how it goes. So the next step will be to add it to the research system, the research tree. I guess repair bot, cargo container carrier, gift box, micro ore container. I guess it makes sense to attach it like here, to the micro ore container maybe, the small ore container. I guess let's add it to the micro ore container so that we have more modules on the outer layer here. Yeah, okay. Let's do that. So micro ore container, okay. Extractor, and let's make it like really expensive because it's going to be relatively good, excuse me. So let's make it like 2500 research points for the moment. Okay, next let's try and see if we can use the module in the editor and give it a try. Okay, so let's call it extractor test. Actually, this ship already has an ore container, which is handy. Let's just remove this stuff for the moment, and let's add. Where is it? Or container. Well, apparently it's not here. Well, where is it then? Did I miss it somehow? Apparently it isn't working yet. I guess maybe it needs to be added to the research tree before? Not quite sure actually. Just check it to make sure. Or extractor, right? And extract module. Or extractor class. Yeah, this should actually work. So let's see. Okay, there is an extra module now. Yeah, okay. Okay, here it is. Okay, so it looks sort of similar to the ore extractor, which is nice. Let's see how it reacts when we give it a color. Okay, but this is actually more an error of the old ore container, which I will fix later on. Yeah. Okay. Actually, I should modify the, where is it? Extractor test tip, which is the reason for existence. It just make everything like red, I guess. Maybe light red, red base color. Yeah. I guess this is okay. Okay, I actually sort of like it. Maybe there could be a little bit more detail here, but I guess it's sort of okay-ish. So, let's briefly see how it looks in game. Oops. Yeah, I guess it looks sort of fitting. And normal maps seem to work, so when the ship rotates, different parts of the module will light up. Yeah, I guess I really need to improve the asteroids. I'm sort of getting annoyed by them at the moment. Yeah, this will be sort of a midterm project to make the asteroids prettier. Okay, so this is sort of working. What is next? Okay, and now, well, we need to make it do something actually. So, in case you haven't played the game before, some of the asteroids have ore. Oh, maybe they do not in the test map. I need to fix that. And usually you have to destroy them in order to get the ore. But the idea is that using the ore extractor you can sort of get it easier, faster, and you can even get more ore than you could previously. Okay. Okay, adding it to game is done. And now for the hard part, and I guess I'm going to make an extra point for add effects, because this is going to be a large part of it. Okay, but before we do that, let's add some text for it. So we have like or extractor name, which is just or extractor, and the description will be extracts or from nearby asteroids, or more efficient than destroying them, I guess. I mean, we'll improve this later on, so let's do the same for the German version. Okay, good. Okay. Well, the hard part will really be to make like this tube thingy. Let's go back to the original sketch. Just save this, by the way. Yeah, I mean, basically we still have all three options. So we could have tractor beam, which sucks the ore out of the asteroid. We could have like deck crane with multiple arms, and we could have like a tube going to it. I think I'm going to go with the tube idea. It's going to look a bit Borg-like, I guess. Yeah. Okay, so first let's start with a very simple version. So the very simple version will be, if an asteroid is in range, we will just draw a line towards the asteroid. That will be sort of the baseline from which we will continue. First, let's go to the test map. The reason I'm going here is that I'm not sure if the test maps spawn asteroids with ore. Where is it? Is it in map? Yeah, it is in map. Okay. So for testing purposes, we are going to just give it 5 rich asteroids fields. Good. Okay, next, let's have a look at how the asteroids work. Okay, so asteroids have a loot rate and has loot as a variable. So if we have an asteroid, we can check if it is if it has ore inside it. And how does it work? Spawn loot. Okay. 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 Good. Yeah, okay. Good. Let's do it. So, what we will do now is we will add some functionality. So when this module is executed, then we traverse through all the items in the world, like this. And we are going to check if the respective object is an asteroid. And we'll check if the asteroid has loot. And if it does, then we're going to assign this to the new asteroid. Okay, nice. Obviously we also have to check if the asteroid is in range, but we can do this in the next step. So, okay. Okay, next. We have a function which is called render top untransformed, which we can use to draw the line between this module and the asteroid. Okay, so we do this only if A is not null, which would mean that there is no asteroid in range. And yeah, okay. Wait a second, how did I do it last week? Last week we had the EMP, no, the impulse armor, right. I'm just looking, yeah, okay. I'm looking for the code to steal to find our current position. Impulse armor, which is actually almost exactly the same as here. So, yeah, okay. Okay, so this should be our position, and the asteroid has its own position. So now we just draw a line from our own chip X and Y to our asteroid PX, PY. Let's make it 5 right, and it's going to look horrible, but let's see if it works. Okay, so what did we change? First of all, we made it not compile because I forgot the void here. So first of all, I added a lot of rich asteroids to the map generation process. So now we should have a lot of asteroids carrying ore. And I also another compiler error. Yep, here, and what else did I miss? Cannot find draw line? What? Is it? Did I misspell it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Huh? What? Yep. What is the problem here? Method. I cannot find symbol draw line. Float. What? I mean, maybe it's an error because of the previous line. Let's just try to compile it again. I don't quite get why it isn't working. Or is it deprecated what I'm... Okay, apparently it's deprecated what I'm doing. Is it render line? Yes, it is render line. Okay. So at some point I changed the nomenclature of the modules, of the graphic functions, I mean. Okay, so it immediately crashed, okay. Null pointer exception, render type untransformed or extractor. Yeah, this was actually exactly the wrong way around. I'm really thinking about how to make the tube part. It will be tricky. I mean, it's probably possible. I'm not sure yet. Okay, so I think it is working. I think. Unfortunately, I did not. Huh? Was it not working? I did not specify a color, so maybe it is drawing in a transparent color. Let's just use white. Yeah, that was probably the error, I guess. Yeah, probably. I mean, it's sort of undefined what it does when the color is not specified. Okay, yeah. Now we can see it is just connecting to a random asteroid which has ore in it. Okay, so next we will take the distance into account. So we'll have a minimum and a maximum distance in which the module actually connects to the asteroid. Okay, so let's just make it let's just use 20 for the moment. Distance. I'm not quite sure how the distance is defined. Okay, we have distance square, and we can just specify a position. Okay, fair enough. So once again, let's use this function to calculate our own. Actually, we can make it easier than this. Okay, px and py, and we're checking if this is smaller than the square of this distance. Okay. Okay. What we also should do is, if we already have an asteroid selected, then we should check if we are still in range of that asteroid. And if we are, then we can immediately skip it, because we do not need to choose a new asteroid. basically I'm going to declare a second maximum distance, which only applies to asteroids which we already connected to. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's pretty much it. So, let's try it again. And let's test if the connection makes sense now. If it does, well, then that's going to be the hard part. Wait a second. Do we have right asteroids here? Yeah, there should be a couple actually. Wow. Stupid solar wind. Oh, apparently that asteroid had some ore in it. I'm not sure. Okay, yeah, I guess it is sort of working. Let's try the test level. So there is an asteroid now which has ore in it. Yeah, okay, so it connects, it extends a bit more if I move away. It still looks like shit. I mean the connection process. Okay, yeah. And I guess it should extend a bit more. I mean 20 seems to be a little bit on the short side. And now the difficult part will come. I'm really not sure how I'm going to make the effect. Like I want it to be like sort of a snake which comes out of the module and which extends towards the asteroid and then attaches to it. But that's going to be really hard. Or we could even have like several little tubes going to it. How am I going to do it? I mean, I could be very lazy and just use the lightning effect which we did in the one of the previous streams. But I'm not really liking it. Okay, so obviously it's going to be a bit of a chain, and the chain parts are going to have to keep connected while we move the ship around. I mean, it's not going to be static all the time, and it actually would look very cool if the chain would sort of extend towards it and move away and so on. So how would it look like? So we would make several chain elements which would each be like 5 long. I mean, let's make a sketch for it. So if this is our module, this is the asteroid, would have like something like this, I guess. And if you want to be super fancy, we could have several at once. Maybe like this. And I mean, probably they wouldn't like be like this unless you move it that way. I guess it's going to look really cool, but it's going to be a lot of work. So yeah, let's just start with a very simple attempt. So I'm going to define a chain class, and the chain part will, well, what will it do? It has a position. It's not going to be chain, it's going to be chain point. I mean, then we do not need a class at all. Okay, let's do it differently. So we're going to have a chain, which is going to be a vector of points, of two-dimensional points. Okay. And by default, or let's say in the beginning, it is going to be empty. By the way, I have to wait, how's it done? Clear state, okay. Yeah, this is sort of hard to explain what I'm doing at the moment. And the problem is that if you have things like a list and you make a clone of this module, the list will be shared between the two modules, and that is usually not what you want. So we're just going to have to tell him to make a new list in this case. This is a very specific problem which we're just addressing at this point before it even comes up. Okay, so we're going to have a chain. At the beginning, the chain is going to be empty. And now, this is probably going to look really shitty at the beginning. So, yeah. Okay, so here in the execution part, if we do have an asteroid, then okay, so let's begin. So if our chain is empty, then we will add a point to it, and this point will be at the position of our current module, which is P. Okay. Okay. Okay, so for the moment we will make a chain which just consists of one point. And now we are going to take this first part of the chain, which is here at position 0. Okay, let's call it leading part or the front part, I don't know. Front chain element, which is chain at position 0, and we're going to move it a tiny bit towards the asteroid. Yes, exactly. That's what we're going to do. So we're going to define the distance from our asteroid to our front chain element. Let's just call it FE. This is sort of annoying. Let's do the same for Y. And let's take the Euclidean distance, and yeah. Okay, so now we're going to move the front part of our chain towards the asteroid. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So dx divided by total distance times world dt, which is the time step, and multiplied with the chain speed. And let's define chain speed as 10 for the moment. Okay. Okay. And we're going to replace our previous rendering procedure by drawing the line not here, but by drawing the line not towards our asteroid directly, but instead towards our front element from the chain. Yes. Okay. fe.x, fe.y. Okay, nice. Then what we also need to change is if our asteroid is null. So then we have to either kill the chain or pull it back towards the module. But for now, let's just delete the chain. Okay, just to see if it works now. Okay, fe.px, fe.py. Where is it? Okay, yeah. So there's sort of an inconsistency within my code if you have like px and py for position or just x and y. And we also should adapt the distance. Okay, I guess we have... well, apparently it's not working. So let's test it. First of all, I'm going to increase the distance. It was too small before. Okay, I see the problem. Yeah, so basically previously it was okay to just return if we do not have an asteroid in range, but this is no longer okay.
mission.
Okay, let's find an ore asteroid for testing. Where do we have one? That's not a good start. I guess I should make like debug functions where I can just spawn all sorts of elements around. Okay, so there we have one. This sort of should already do something, I guess, but it does not. Okay, so next step, we have to see if there is an asteroid found. Wait, what have I been doing here? Hit P? Ah, okay. This may have been a problem. Okay, let's test.
Begin mission.
Okay, so let's start our debug output. Okay, I have no asteroid at the moment, which is correct. I should really make it more obvious on the minimap where the ore asteroids are. Is there one here? Yeah, there's one down there. Maybe I should just increase the frequency in general. So where was it? Okay, now we have one. Okay, now it's working. Okay. Okay. So we sort of have our one element chain which slowly extends to the asteroid and then stays there, which is sort of what we want, but it's obviously just the first part of doing it. Okay. Okay, good. Now that this is working, I'm going to take a very short break, and in the meantime you can see this automated battle. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay. Actually, improving the camera for this mod is also on my to-do list. I guess it's okay at the moment. The camera in general is a problem because okay. Okay, so let's continue with our tube animation module. Which I don't need to restart it. It worked so far, but obviously it was still pretty basic. Okay. So next. Okay. Just checking if I have, yeah, I have all sorts of functions for this. And okay, so what I'm going to do next is the following. Now we're going to take the last element from our chain. Actually, there's probably a function for that. Wait a second. Just get last or something like that. Get first element, last element. Okay. So no need to make it like that. So we can just make last element, no, first element here. And last element down here. Now, if the distance from our ship part, from our module to the last element is greater than, let's say, 5, then we're going to make a new module part, a new part to the chain. Okay, so then we add a new part to the chain. Okay, and next, is this going to work? No, we need one more step. We need the different parts of the chain to sort of balance against each other. How do we do that? But first of all, we can add the drawing part. So okay, let's make it a little bit smaller, but yeah, okay. So now the chain is drawn, actually. Let's make it red so that it's a bit easier to see. And now we need to go through all the middle chain parts. Wait a second. Okay. Okay. So we're going to start with chain number 1. Going through the whole list of chain elements. And wait a second. The last element is the one which just spawned. Okay. Okay. So let me try to illustrate what I'm doing at the moment. Let's make a new image for this. So basically, if this is our asteroid, this is our module. Then this is sort of our front element, and this is our last element. So we already solved this guy. So this guy is automatically moving towards the asteroid, but the other parts need to sort of follow this guy. And they should also sort of straighten each other out. It's going to look pretty cool when it's working. So how do we do it? So basically, if you have this guy here, it should move towards both parts simultaneously. Yeah, okay. So there should be a force applied towards the next element and the previous element. Yeah, okay. So that's pretty much what we're going to do. So it's pretty much very similar to what we've been doing for the first element. I guess we need a second speed, speed front, because the front element probably needs to be faster than the rest of the elements. I guess. I'm not entirely sure, but we will see. So next. Okay, next we're going to, it's going to be a bit messy actually. So we're going to take the ith element, and first of all we're going to calculate the distance from this element to the previous element. Previous element is I minus 1. Okay, and then we're going to add the distance towards the element in question. Okay, yeah, that should be correct. And need to make a second case. Do we? Minus 2. Oh well, let's do it. If it is minus 2, then we do the same for the next element. So n is going to be I plus 1. N. I think in theory it should work. I have no idea if it's going to actually work, but we'll see. So just for interest, let's print the length of our chain, and well, let's give it a try. So as usual, you can make your guess if it's going to compile, if it's going to work, or whatever. It did not work because we are using the same variable name here, which is a bit annoying. Let's call it PE for previous element. And what else did we do wrong? D is also already defined. Well, let's just overwrite them. We do not really need them anymore. What else? That should be it actually. Okay, let's try it again. So there should be an OR asteroid to the top. I'm really curious to see if it's going to work. Okay. Oops. What? I guess the drawing function is not correct, I guess. Wait, what's happening? So there is. There is a bit of. I don't get it. So the number of elements being added down there. Okay, right. Okay, so the chain is like really huge. Okay, so apparently there is an error here somewhere. Okay, so first element. Okay. Basically, very stupid error. It is last element, not first element. I guess. I mean, it was definitely a problem. Let's see if this solves it. Actually, it would be really cool if the tube chain effect works, because that is something which I could recycle in a lot of places in the game later on. So we could really have like tentacle style chips or something, I guess. Okay, maybe I should make the OR a bit more ubiquitous anyway. What? What is happening? So let's see, we have 13 chain elements. So there are really many chain elements right now. And they sort of seem to move immediately. Okay. Okay. So first of all, in order to make it a bit better to see, let's make the chains slower. I mean the chain adaptation, let's make like really slow. And I guess there's also an error here at the drawing function. So for a moment, let's just remove this part. And yeah, okay. Oops, not here, here.
Begin mission.
Okay. Okay, I think I see what the problem is. So I think the problem is that using the front element, the second element is not attracted to the front element, and therefore, yeah, this isn't really going anywhere here. Okay. But as you can see, further behind, it looks sort of... I mean, it's the reaction of the chain is obviously too slow, but it's sort of how it should be, I think. Okay. Okay, so what did I say? So the second element, wait, so the first element is the one which is on the front, and this is the so actually this is where it should get attracted to the Let's try something here. Let's try to remove this part, see how it affects things. And let's increase the force a bit. Yeah.
Begin mission.
Yeah. Well.
Module connected.
It did actually work. It did actually work. But the problem was that it did not really retract the chain, so it wasn't very compact. And yeah, but it sort of did work. So let's try again. Let's make it stronger. The effect, I mean. I mean, I guess it could be equally strong now. Well, let's test it. Let's test it.
Begin mission.
So, two asteroids over there. It was stupid. It was stupid. Yeah, do that again.
Begin mission.
It was really stupid. Huh? So there is a bit of bugginess going on, definitely. It takes really long until the... Okay, so first of all, it should extend from the module, not from the... It's going to be a lot of work to make this look right, actually. It should start extending at the module position, not at the ship position, which is the first problem, I think. Maybe not. Actually, it's really inconsistent where it starts. And also, there needs to be a connection to the last element here. This is actually the part which I removed, so we have to activate that part again. Let's try again. I'm guessing, by the way, that I won't be able to finish this module in this stream because I have a lot of stuff to do still. But I'll probably continue it like Tuesday. Yeah, and get it done that way later on. Just a lot of stuff happening at the moment, so I'm sorry if the development is going a bit slower than usual at the moment. But things will improve, of course, in the long run. So, there is an ore asteroid over there. Huh? Oh, it goes towards the wrong module. Yeah. Yeah, it should go to the last element. Actually, the weather outside is really terrible, so it makes you feel really nice and cozy sitting in front of your computer, drinking some tea, coding some stuff.
Begin mission.
Okay, so I'm going to try to make this chain effect work in this stream. What the hell? Why is this so strange? Why is it missing one element all the time? I don't get it. What I was saying, I'm going to implement the chain effect, I think. This is what I'm trying to do now. This is so strange. And I'm going to do the actual function off stream later on or in the course of the next week. So why is this not working? So we're going to the... I mean, it's going to crash if we go to chain size. Ah, okay. Oh, okay, I see. It's strictly smaller. Okay, I see. Okay, next. I think this needs to be a bit finer, maybe 3 by 3. And let's test it again. Okay, so the next thing which is missing is that the chain parts pull in the opposite direction. So basically we are having this arrow, so the pull towards the front element is already working, but the reverse pull towards the base is missing, which we will do next. So, but first, let's see if it works. Do we have an OR asteroid around? Actually, I should really increase the number of asteroids which have OR in them. Yeah, let me do that. So asteroids, spawn, asteroid field, loot probability, okay. Where is it used? So the loot probability is 10%. So let's make this like 20%. So we should have twice as many OR asteroids, and in the base asteroid field, let's increase it to 5%. So basically 1 in 5 asteroids should have OR now. Yeah, that's more like it. Okay. Okay. Yeah, this actually sort of works. Now I only need to have the pull backwards toward the ship. Nice. Okay. So basically we already had it. It was just not sure if it works. So let's try this again. What? There's obviously like a huge bug in there, but I'm not quite sure what it is. Okay, so once I do this, the second part of the chain is no longer following the first one. I don't quite get it. So, unless this the last element. Well, let's try starting with the second one. Let's see if that is the problem. So it's a really strange bug actually. Oops.
Begin mission.
Actually, now that we have the ore extractor, it might be really fun to have more asteroids on the map, I think. I mean more asteroids which have
Module collected.
I don't get it. Why is there always this one node which doesn't work correctly. It's so strange. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. So again. Let's try a different approach. Let's try a different approach. So okay, let's try a different approach. So new sketch. So if we have 3 different chain parts, then I guess the middle chain part should sort of be pulled towards the middle of the previous 2 parts. Does it solve anything? I'm not entirely sure, but let's try this approach. Okay, so let's define target X and target Y, and we have 2 different cases. So if chain size is smaller than, wait a second. Oh, okay. Maybe I'm seeing the problem. No, am I? Okay, I guess. Okay. Yeah. Yes, I guess. Yeah, I guess this was the problem. So we were going to the we were missing the last element here and here. Yeah. Okay. That was probably the bug. So let's test it again. And yeah, I mean, the next step will be to add a texture to these chain elements.
Begin mission.
So here's the start. And it's still not working. And it's still not working, so apparently that wasn't the bug either. I mean, why is it being pulled in? Come on. And why are there so many new elements? It's so strange. This is so strange. I don't get it. What am I doing wrong here? Okay, so let's once again let's test it just having the first part here. Previous element, next element. Okay, wait a second. Huh. Wait a second, if we have a long chain, should the front element be affected at all by this? Probably not. And the last element? Okay. The front element should not be affected. Okay, and it is not affected. I'm always confusing the order of this list. I mean, element number 1 is element number 0 is this guy. This is 1, 2, 3. So element number 0 should only go towards the asteroid. Elements 1 and 2 should be attracted to the element before the previous element. Okay. And also to the next element, which would be the element below. We go up to the last element. Okay, so again, let's just test the first part. So the first part should be that things get pulled to the front. Okay. Sorry to be stuck at this point. It's sort of an annoying bug. But yeah, I mean, on the bright side, we will have really cool chain effects in the game later on, which can be used for a lot of cool effects. Okay, so right here. Okay. Yeah, okay. Oh, and then it just disappears. Okay. I just realized one reason why it doesn't work. The front element is much faster than the other elements, and this is probably a part of the problem. So for now, let's just give all of these chain parts the same speed, because otherwise the following chain parts will not be able to keep up with the front part, which is probably part of the problem. Okay, so let's try that again.